Hello dear polymer clay enthusiast! Do you like faux ceramic? I personally am fascinated by ceramic and faux ceramic, and I am always searching for new ways, new techniques to get this beautiful look for my polymer clay pieces. So for this tutorial I was working on the idea of making a classic blue faux ceramic effect, but then while preparing for filming the tutorial, I decided to use fall colors and change everything about the colors. But I also wanted to show you that you can use one stencil and different colors and you'll get different effects, so I totally encourage you to play with this idea. Hi, I'm Michaela from Learn Polymer Clay and I invite you to watch my tutorial. So grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and let's dive into the tutorial. As always, I started by properly conditioning the polymer clay. I'm working with white polymer clay, but you might want to try this idea with black polymer clay because mica powders and black clay work magic together. So I have passed the polymer clay on the setting number 3 of my Atlas pastel machine because I intend to put one piece on top of the other, which is why I will start by using a beautiful texture plate with a lot of circles, a geometric pattern. And I'm going to press it into the clay. I'm going to use the roller to make sure that I pressed this texture plate well, and I like the resulting pattern. Of course, when working with white polymer clay, you should be very careful to clean your tools, clean the texture plate, clean the pastel machine, clean your hands, because it is tricky to work with polymer clay, with white polymer clay. But because I intend to use mica powders to enhance the pattern, I'm not very worried about having a clay which is not so white and clean. Then I am going to use a beautiful geometric stencil and mica powders in fall colors. So I gently press the stencil into the polymer clay and I'm going to use my hands. You can use a brush or an applicator, and I'm going to apply mica powders on top of, inside the openings of the stencil. I'm going to start with lighter colors, meaning light yellow and light gold in the upper part. Then I'm going to use orange. And of course, the more mica powder you apply, the stronger the resulting color. And for the bottom, I'm going to use a brownish color of mica powder. I thought that this would be the perfect colors for a fall inspired polymer clay piece, which I had in mind. And then I decided to blend a little bit the colors. So I blended the brownish mica powder with the orange and the orange with the light yellow to have a very subtle watercolor effect with this blending of the colors. And to spice up the base, I decided to use some imitation gold metal leaf. And of course, you will have to wipe out the mica powder in the areas where you want to apply this kind of metal leaf. It adheres perfectly to raw polymer clay, but of course it would not adhere if you put something in between the clay and this metal leaf, such as pan pastels or mica powders. And I've used my finger to press this metal leaf into the clay, into the openings of the stencil, to end up with a beautiful geometric pattern. You will need to keep baby wipes near to be able to use them to clean your hands and gently clean your stencil and remove mica powders or such imitation gold metal scraps. Next, I intend to make 2 half moon pieces, and I'm going to use a larger round cutter for one piece and a smaller round cutter for the other piece. I'm deciding which part of the pattern I would like to have on the finished design, and then you'll just have to press on the cutter. Normally, if I have thought a little bit more about this design, I could have used this piece and continued with the stenciling and add more metal leaf and make the smaller half moon piece from the same clay slab, but I didn't. And you might need to use your blade and trim a straight, nice line for your piece. So again, I'm going to use the same stencil. And again, I pressed it lightly into the polymer clay. And for the second, smaller half moon piece, I decided to use light yellow mica powder and gold mica powder, but on a second thought, I think I would put, if I had to do this project again, I would rather put the brownish mica powder in the upper part of the piece and have like a symmetry, up and down symmetry in the finished focal piece. This time I tried to cover the rest of the stencil with some paper and leave the area that I wanted to decorate with gold metal leaf. And again, you'll have to use baby wipes to remove the metal scraps, the metal leaf scraps. And for the back, I just used orange and gold mica powder to enhance the pattern, and then I thought that it would be better to wipe these colors partially to have a softened look. And again, you'll have to use your blade and trim off the excess and end up with a half moon piece. Now I'm considering how I'm going to position the pieces. Next, I took the polymer clay sheet that I textured and colored with mica powders. I flipped it on the other side, and I'm going to use it to make the back of the pieces. So the easiest way to do so is to put your pieces on top of the textured clay and use the same cutters to cut out the shape, and then lightly, without distorting the pieces, you'll have to take them apart. I am going to sandwich a beautiful metal component in between the two layers of clay, and I'm using this beautiful metal component, metal link, with a faux hammer look that I like very much. And then I just put the second piece on top. I aligned the two pieces well, the front and the back, and then you'll just have to use parchment paper, baking paper, and gently press the pieces together. You might have a slightly damped effect in the area where the metal component sits. Again, use your tools to smooth off the edges. And this is the piece front and back. And then when you are, and I used the Ultramarine Blue Pan pastel for this piece with a classic faux ceramic look. Then you'll have to bake your pieces for 40 minutes at the recommended temperature in the preheated oven. I bake my pieces on parchment paper because I'm making, as you have seen, the back and the front of the piece in the same time. Then you'll have to let the clay cool down, and I will finish these pieces, and I am going to use UV resin for the faux ceramic look. Of course, when working with resin, it is recommended to protect your hands with gloves and work in well-ventilated areas. I'm applying the resin straight from a bottle, and let's say I'm applying a generous amount of resin. For this piece, I used a cutter, a metallic cutter underneath to support it. While for the second piece, I put some metal frames because I want to make sure that the clay piece is straight. If not, if the piece is tilted, your resin will drop to the side, will drop down on that side. And you'll have to use a heat gun to remove any air bubbles. And then I just used a UV lamp. I just used the UV lamp and cured the pieces for 2 consecutive minutes. And these are the finished pieces. And I must tell you that I cannot decide which one I prefer. I like the classic look of faux porcelain because I love blue porcelain, but I kind of like the one with the faux colors as well. So please tell me in the comments which one do you prefer. Thank you for watching the tutorial. I hope that you like this faux ceramic idea. I encourage you to take this idea and this technique and use it in your work with polymer clay. Don't forget to push the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified whenever I post new polymer clay tutorials. And thank you, and stay tuned for more inspiration for work with polymer clay.